All right, we have done so much together. Very, very, very proud of you for powering through this one. It is probably one of the most technical classes that you're going to go through, but it is going to give you a lot of return on understanding how to use Domo, how to move so that you can create value for your organization right away. So remember at the beginning, I told you that this is our data kitchen. This is our kitchen. And on the left-hand side, we have all these tools. And think about where you were prior to this. You probably didn't know what some of these things were, but now you've used so many of these tools, and there's so many more that you could definitely use, but we're just showing you a lot of the basic ones and giving you enough semblance, enough of an understanding, and giving you enough of an understanding so you can work and move and be very, very proficient right away. Okay. So you see all these things here. Now, what I'd like you to do, if you have been following along sequentially, we have this append rows here. I'd like you to connect all the end pieces to your append rows. And I'm going to do my little thing of putting all my little ends right here, right next to each other. Kind of like cooking. What we want to do is we want to chop. We want to keep everything roughly the same consistent size. So I'm just putting these ends here. I'm going to change this color for my pivot one to make it this. So I have some different colors. And we're just going to put it all together. There's a reason why, because we're going to run our ETL. You can't run it if something is like this. If I try to go run it, it's going to stop actually because everything needs to be put into a box. Remember, we have our raw ingredients. We do a bunch of things to it. We need to put it onto a plate, into a box so that we can use it. If we have something broken like this, it's not going to work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and reconnect it. Everything has to have an output. And I'm going to move it back down. Okay, beautiful. Now I'm going to give you a little pro tip, by the way. So I previously said, yeah, you can always schedule these things to run whenever the trigger runs. So I can say, hey, whenever that ingredient, which in this case is our Google Sheet, whenever this updates, automatically go kick this thing off. You could totally do it that way. You have other ways you could do it. You could say on a schedule. I could say I want it to only run on Mondays at the first of the month. Whatever I want it to be. You could do these things. Or you could just say, hey, go run this thing manually. I don't want a trigger. You could do that. So we're not going to add a trigger for now because this is just a test for you to see. But I'm going to show you a pro move. I'm going to grab this select columns and I'm going to put it right at the end. And here is why. If I connect all these things together, I say add all columns, because if I need to change something, if I need to change, for instance, the word date, I need to be actually, I need to call it dates of purchase or whatever. If I do it right at the end, it works. It goes right into the output. There's nothing that has to happen. However, if I were to change that up here, if I were to change this word, or if I were to change this column to be called like right here, if I were to change this to be date of purchase, things are going to break downstream, right? Because now that name has to be carried through all the way down and all these things. So I don't want to deal with that. So we're going to put our select columns right at the end to help us out in case we need to do it. It's a good common practice to help you out. All right, we did it. Let's run an ETL. Let's see what happens from all the work that we've done together. Very, very proud of you. Let's go say here, save and run, save and run again, and we're good. Now, what you can see what's happening right now is history. It's telling you how long this thing is taking. So it might take a couple seconds. It might take a minute, it might take a couple minutes. Who knows? Mine is done in about 12 seconds. Pretty cool. Now, once you run the ETL, there are a couple things that I do want to show you before we go. If I go to versions, I can see here timestamps of different times that I've run this ETL. And if I made a mistake, like, oh no, I made a mistake, I need to do something. Well, I can actually just click this thing, this little dot, 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 and say, make that old version the current one in case I need to revert back. So don't be afraid too much about breaking something. You're fine with that one. If I go to history, that just shows you every time it was run, pretty straightforward. If I go to lineage, what this is showing you, hey, what are the inputs? Where do they go? What's the output? And that's what datasets is. Datasets shows you, here are all the ingredients that we chose, which is just one in this instance. And where did they go? What's the box? Look, we started with 1,000 rows. We made it into 7,500 rows. And if I click this, if I click data, now I can see everything. I can see all of my rows that happen to be here. And you can see we have all the new column names because we did so much with it, and that worked. There we go. Okay, a couple last things for you. If I hit this back button right here, now I find my output, and anything with the gray with that little split ends icon, that tells me that that was an output that came from an ETL. And I can tag it, which you know I love to do. I'm going to do Domo Learning, and I'm just going to say save for that one. And I can click it again, and I can choose to share it with anybody that I want to share it with. So there you go. And if I need to go back to it, I'm just going to hit this ETL icon on the left again. So now I can see all the ETLs that we have done. So I'm going to go back to edit just so I can say some stuff. So with this, I just want to say something that I'm very, very proud of you for pushing through. This, I've taught this a lot, and this is probably the most complex one, where it's just a lot of things being thrown at you, but it is the best return. You're going to learn how to actually do data transformation. This is the heart of the analytics part, where you now can take your ingredients, clean cut, prep them, cook them, and now we can get to work on how do we plate it, how we make it look good. A lot of people know how to make a bar chart, sure, whatever, a pie chart, sure, whatever. But being able to do this by drag and drop, huge game changer compared to what it used to have to be when you used to have to type out all the SQL code. So it might sound complex at first, but I guarantee you the more you do it, the faster you'll be able to pick it up, and you'll be able to really move and create a lot of value for organization, a lot of really, really fun things. So I'm very excited to see what you're going to create in the future using this ETL and Domo and making a lot of very, very cool things. All right, I'll talk to you later.